It's just gone lunchtime. This is All Angles here on eNCA. Good afternoon. I'm Masakho Ratlacha. It's that time of the day when we give you an update on how far some of the stories we've been following up for you on channel have advanced. Here's your lunchtime update. Our reporters have been out and about bringing us the latest on our top stories. I'm joined by Slindelo Masikane in Bloemfontein. Aviwe Mtila is on the streets of Johannesburg, and Moloto is with me here in studio. Sli, let me start with you. You're in Bloemfontein, where one of the two most recent arrests in the Thabo Bester escape saga was granted bail, but accused 12 abandoned his bail bid. What happened exactly in court?
In essence, we saw a bail application that was unopposed by the state for accused number 11, that is Joel Makheta. He's a suspended G4S employee who has been implicated in Bester's escape from prison. And from what we understood is that he, as well as two others, were recently arrested about 2 weeks ago. And they're facing various charges ranging from corruption, aiding and abetting, as well as violation of a human body. Now, what we understood last week was that there was going to be an opposition of the bail applications, but it seems the state made an about turn and decided that they would be not opposing the bail applications. But interestingly enough, we saw accused number 12, Moeketsi Ramudula, then abandoning his bail application. What we also understand, of course, is that on the 8th of August, we will be seeing the 12 accused, the suspects, all back here in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court. The last time all accused were in court for the main matter, it was postponed for further investigations. So in anticipation of the 8th, there is an expectation that there's a possibility that investigations may have been finalized by the police, but also the potential that we may see more arrests in this matter. But back to today's proceedings, we did have an opportunity to speak to one of the family members of Joel Makheta. This is what they had to say in terms of the family's reaction to him being granted bail to the amount of 10,000 rand with very strict conditions.
I do not believe he's someone who's capable to do a crime of that nature. However, we will await all the necessary processes of the court and the investigations to be finalized. But I still maintain the position that we had previously, that he is innocent in all this. His children have been going through a devastating moment, but I believe that today they will feel very much better that now their father is back home. We also, as the entire family, would be much happier to welcome him back.
All right, Aviwe, let me come to you. Joburg residents, of course, unhappy about the water shutdown that's coming up from tonight all the way through to Friday afternoon. Now, we understand that the outage may be prolonged in some areas. Talk to us about that.
Well, Maseko, what you'll see around Johannesburg is a scramble from many of its residents heading to those water shops to fill up those bottles. That's given the planned shutdown of water by Rand Water. That is expected from 7 o'clock this evening up until 5 a.m. On Friday morning. That's the official word that we got, of course, and we've been promised that places like your hospitals, your clinics, the police stations, as well as schools, will have stationary tankers that are to supply water there. But what about the rest of the areas, such as malls? They're making their own provisions, Maseko, as have been crisscrossing the breadth and width of Johannesburg, and they say that they are providing their own tankers that will ensure that places like the toilets in these facilities will continue having running water. But if you go to areas like Lenasia, where we visited a bit earlier on, there are residents there that are providing boreholes to many of its citizens. In fact, we had conversations with some of the residents which are quite angry about the situation. They suggest that they'll be filling up those bottles which you've been seeing with a lot of water to drink. They'll be then using the water tankers that have been promised, as well as the boreholes themselves for just bathing. But over the next course of the next 4 days, they won't be doing any laundry, is what we heard there. But if it is to continue, as a suggestion that we heard from the environmental infrastructure development person that takes care of that in the city of Johannesburg, that this in fact may go on for more than 4 days to at least 14 days of this planned shutdown of water. They suggest that they will be in trouble. In fact, let's get that word from the COJ environmental infrastructure development person that takes care of that. That's Imran Musa on what he had to say.
We also have several trucks roaming around in Lenasia for old residents, etc., where we can provide water and make it convenient and easy for residents in Lenasia to ensure that they have water. So, I'm sure that this will ease the burden of, provision of water in the circumstances that we're faced with, especially for a prolonged period that we're expecting. So the period actually is anything between 4 days and 14 days, actually. Because, in circumstances when you're replacing these type of pipings that has never been replaced in the city of Johannesburg for such a long period of time, we can expect, delays with regards to this piping.
And Moloko, you're looking into this escalation of the attack on the freight industry. If our numbers are correct in terms of correlating them, 16 trucks set alight in the space of 3 days, latest being 2 in KZN. Do we know the root cause of these attacks?
Hello, Masero. Indeed, 16 trucks trashed since Sunday morning, and this happened in 3 provinces. KwaZulu-Natal, 2 separate incidents there, the province of Mpumalanga as well as the northernmost province of Limpopo. The issue of the cause, you listen to the Minister of Police, General Bekicele. He kind of like alludes to the internal issues of labor within the trucking industry. You would be aware that there are people who are unhappy with the employment of foreign nationals, and that is the same sentiments that was echoed by Fani Masemola, the National Police Commissioner. But when you listen to labor on the other side, specifically SATAU as a union representing some of the workers in the sector, they seem to be in the dark. You get an impression that between the workers or the union as organized labor as well as the employer, but also as government, particularly from the police's side, there is no coordination, because you hear COSATU complaining that they don't get to be told about what the issues are. All they are told all the time is that investigations are continuing. Maybe let's listen to a representative of COSATU here.
The police and the government, they are also failing us. They are unable to tell us whether what could be the motive behind. We are fighting something that we do not know. And unfortunately, if they are unable to tell us, because if there's an incident like this and you have SAPS telling you that the matter is being investigated, and you'll never get the end results of those investigations.
And Moloko, President Cyril Ramaphosa saying at the weekend that he awaits a report from the intelligence agencies on how to prevent further attacks. There have been attacks before. Does he have this report?
Well, I don't even expect him, once he get this particular intelligence report, to kind of like share it with the public, because in their own nature, intelligence would happen clandestinely. But obviously, this is an issue considering the fact that it's got a negative impact not only on the movement of goods, but also on the economy at large. I mean, some of the citrus that was banned yesterday in Mpumalanga was destined for China. So somebody in the value chain has lost. It would possibly be the one who was selling. But also, should this continue, you would expect that some of the workers would end up losing their jobs. Now, indeed, the president is saying that he's essentially likening this to economic sabotage. But what is happening? That would be the key question. The police will certainly tell you that they are investigating this. We know that this has happened in at least 3 provinces for now. And in my interaction with the communications officials at the national level, they are saying they are coordinating efforts across the country in terms of fighting this. But let's listen to eNCA, who speaks for the police in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. He says that they are going to be putting measures in place in terms of ensuring that they nip this in the bud.
Our main focus now is on protecting the routes that are used by these trucks, and we've now deployed permanently people on the highways. We've identified over 20 routes in the province that are used by the trucks, and we've put permanent deployments day and night. These police officers will only be focusing on patrolling those routes that are used by the trucks.
All right, that was your eNCA lunchtime update from all angles with reporters Moloko, Moloto, Aviwe, Mtila and Slindelo Masikane. Thank you very much, team. Let's leave it there for now.